Hi guys, welcome to Sample Tools by Cr2, where we are going to be releasing 2 sample packs this time as it's our 100th. Hi guys, welcome to Sample Tools by Cr2, and this time we're going to be releasing 2 sample packs to celebrate our 100th release. Woo! So here are some great videos for you guys on the EDM pack and the underground one. Let's start with the EDM pack. I want to teach you my kick and bass secrets. It's simpler than you may think, but it's about using them as effectively as possible. Let's have a look at the kicks that I've used first. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I really like layering kicks. I think that's the most effective way of getting what you want from your sounds. So I've got a low kick here. I felt like the low kick had a really nice sub to it. Not too much of a note either. Sometimes I like a tuned kick, sometimes I don't. I'm just using the channel EQ here to take out what I don't need. You can use a filter if you want, but this seemed to work for me. Without the cut. For me, the low end was everything. The high end was horrendous. So I got rid of that, kept the low end, and then took the high end from a different kick, which is this one here. I did like the low end on this kick also, but just not as much. I did like the low end on this kick also, but just not as much as the other one. So together they sound like great, but a little bit weak. Now, someone showed me this plugin about a month ago, and I've fallen in love with it ever since, especially for things like EDM. This is the kick tweak designed by Singo Makers, and it was made last year. Essentially what it is, it's an overdrive clipper that forces your kick into this wall, making it really thick and really fat, but without raising the volume too much. You've got these different presets here, which will have a flick through, and then the amount of intensity as well. You can also change the design variation from this VU meter to this guy hitting a hammer. I like the guy hitting a hammer. I think it's pretty funny. Let's hear it in action. The way I like to apply it is turn it on, leave it on 1, bring this all the way down and slowly bring it up until I feel that I have as much of this kind of overdrive clipping effect as I need. But we'll have a listen to the other presets in a second as well. Let's check out the other presets. So the last 4, you have this gate, so you can cut the kick off really quickly. It's not super accurate, but what it's doing is it's kind of removing any of the release of the kick, and then you've got the drive as well. These effects feel a little gimmicky for me. I really like the first one. I think it's perfect. Not only is it adding that extra oomph, but it's gluing them together as well. Now, when you overdrive something and clip it, distort it, it brings out frequencies that you don't want. So it's really important that you take them out. For me, it was this frequency just around 500 Hertz. There was something that just didn't sit quite right there. It was kind of like a hollowness. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to raise it. I'm going to leave it neutral. I'm going to raise it so you guys can hear what it is, and then we'll cut it out. And again. Now I see a lot of people doing this. They hear a frequency they don't like and they just decide to pull the whole thing out. What you really should be aiming to do is to pull out as much as you can get away with, but you don't want to affect too much of the rest of the sound. When you raise it up, it's very easy to then want to bring it really far down because your ears are so locked onto the frequency. They know exactly what that frequency sounds like. Sometimes it's worth even not raising up like that and going straight down if you know where you want to cut. So I felt like around 3 to 4 dB was perfect for this. It's also important to change the cues, so make it thinner or wider. Again, you want to get away with as thin as possible. Too wide, it's going to affect too much on the side, but too thin, it might not affect it enough. So let's see where the balance is there. We can start to hear it again there, getting a bit too thin, so let's just widen it ever so slightly. Perfect. I've also got a 30 Hz cut there. I do that on every kick. It's just mandatory for me. Anything bassy, I put a 30 Hz cut minimum. Once I've done a cut with a digital EQ, I would count the Pro Q2 as a digital EQ. I then do boosts with an analog EQ. I always feel this gives a more musical flavor, makes it a bit thicker in a more natural way, and you also get a little bit of that sort of tube or analog circuitry emulation, which can add something special to your sound. So let's play this without. And with. The difference is really subtle, but just listen to the low end again. What I'm adding here is just a little bit of a thump at 60 Hz, but then I'm also cutting just above that. Attenuation stands for cut. If you guys have ever used this before, this is exactly what's going on a channel EQ. So we've got a boost, a shelf boost at 60. At about that, maybe a little bit less to be honest. It says 1 decibel there, but we're just going to exaggerate it for now. Now what happens is when you boost at 60, you do actually lift up things after it with the shelf because it's so smooth. So what you can do with this EQ is then pull down just above it, which will remove any mud. So you get this nice fatness there, but then you're not getting this boxiness that can be added there. Best of both worlds. Okay, great guys, that's the kick. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you how I treat the bass.
Remember, at Sample Tools by Cr2, we also offer a mix and mastering service. Just head over to www.sampletoolsbycr2.com, click on the mastering tab, and you'll find our range of services there.